Welcome to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. We are here every Saturday to highlight local entrepreneurs and small business owners to learn how they succeed to build their businesses from the ground up. What were their challenges and what were their victories? And the purpose of the show is to put a voice to local business owners and entrepreneurs. So when you contact them for their services, you have an idea of who they are and who you're talking to. When you buy from one of our guests, you are buying from a local business. Jeanette, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous.
So we have a little change. So we had May is Older Americans Month. Celeste Zupancic is with us today. She is a realtor with HomeSmart PV and Associates. I love your tagline, by the way, Celeste.
Don't move without me.
That's right. So Jeanette, she's going to be on all 5 shows in May. And our goal is to educate people, maybe to transition from the working class to retiring, things you might need to know.
Well, I think that's very important. I mean, look at it. If we are lucky enough to become older, that's a great thing. I mean, what's the alternative? Or else we're lucky enough to have those in our lives that are older. And most of the time, we're only thinking about, ourselves, our family. And when it comes to our parents or someone else that is older, we can't really help them. We don't know where to go to get them the help that they need for their age. Things change when you're older. Money is a lot more important.
So, Celeste, you kind of help people transition. So, like, if you're looking to downsize your home, basically you're kind of educating your clients on, the tax, like what to look for taxes, like a tax shelter, correct?
Absolutely. I am a senior real estate specialist. So really, I want to do kind of a big, broad outlook for a senior. And really, that's the 50 plus community, because we all have different things that we need in different stages of our life. So it could be, touring the home and coming up with ideas that we can help a senior age in place.
It's got to be tough, though. I mean, why are seniors right now or even thinking about downsizing? I remember my son told me, Mom, maybe you should go into a 1-story house because climbing those stairs every single day. And I'm going, as long as I can climb those stairs, I want my 2-story house. But what are the reasons that someone, except for, let's say, financial, but financial is a big thing. But there's a lot of reasons older people, they raised their family in the home, that they might want to downsize and they're scared. What are some of the, can you tell me, benefits?
Definitely size. Cleaning a 4,000 square foot home, not only is that difficult, but unnecessary as we grow older. We're looking forward to, in the golden years, travel, a little bit more adventures and exploration, not cleaning a 4,000 square foot home that no one's living in, because we're empty nesters. So it could be the best option to downsize, take some of that equity out, reinvest it, and it's a good time to defer taxes.
And then we're talking also, I know that my agency is working sometimes with your agency. When you have a client, then a lot of clients that you've been sending lately, they're getting condos. And one of the benefits is gated community, safety, and not having to do yard work. Even though when I'm 90, I still want to be out in my own backyard digging up plants.
Yeah, not me. I'm more of a condo guy. I do own a house, but I'm more of a condo guy.
He's going to be a future customer.
Future
here.
condo, right,
yes,
Justin?
Yeah, future condo, yes. And I haven't hit that 50 age yet. I'm 49, so this is all new to me.
You're so young. You're so young.
Well, I am definitely in that 50 plus community. So I am thinking about those things. I'm thinking about how I can defer taxes. Retirement is on the horizon. So I'm looking into how I can invest, how I can save money, make my life a little easier.
Is that why you went into it? I mean, you've been a realtor for how many years?
6.
6. Okay, so was it 6 years? This was your plan all along, or did you find a need out there and said, I really want to help the elderly community?
I love my seniors. I have a special place in my heart for my seniors.
So you listen to Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app.
Special place. Special place for seniors.
Definitely a special place in my heart for seniors. They may not have the resources. Making a move like this late in life seems very scary and intimidating. So I feel honored to have the resources to be able to help them efficiently and get the job done.
And I mean, you're someone that they could just come even and start the progress with, because I know if, I have 7 kids, you know that. But, half the kids are going, Mom, enjoy the equity you have in your home. Then I have my youngest, he's 19. He's going, no, I want this house for myself because this is where I want to raise my kids. How dare you spend the inheritance? So, I mean, you're maybe someone they can come and talk to, benefits, etc.
Yes. And many times it is a family endeavor. So absolutely, lots of times we have kids involved, nieces, nephews, and as long as the senior feels comfortable with that, then it is a family endeavor.
It just seems overwhelming. Let's say I were to sell my home as a senior. I have 7 bedrooms, right? Those 7 bedrooms, one of them still has my oldest daughter, who's like 32, all her dolls. I mean, it's it's overwhelming. Do you go through the process to help them in that sales process? There's so much stuff.
Yes, we have estate planners. We do have estate planners. We have estate sales people. I had a senior that had a medical emergency a couple of years ago. The ambulance had to break in the garage door to gain access to her. She had a lot of stuff in her home. Well, of course, the family came in to her rescue, whisked her away to, get better health care and one-on-one attention. And it left a home that had a inside garage door that was damaged. It was full of stuff. It needed landscaping, and we were able to, in the matter of 3 days, correct all of those things, get the home ready for market, and we were able to procure many offers and sell her home for top dollar.
So you also stage the home then? Help
Absolutely,
them stage,
if that's what we need to do.
For those that don't know what staging it is making it look like a model home and get rid of all the clutter, correct?
Staging means many things. Sometimes it's just putting a few light things out. Sometimes it's helping the client move their furniture around. So that it complements the home, meaning, walkways look bigger, it looks less cluttered.
So let's talk about really quick, like you said, this is your biggest investment for most people, that is your home. So what are some of the things that you suggest? Like, because I've heard you talk about treating your home, as your biggest asset, you want to take care of it. Can you go more into that a little bit?
Yes. Kind of one of the things that's a little disappointing is when you sell a home to a client and 2 or 3 years later you go by there and, it's kind of in disarray. The yards look bad. You've got, the eaves need to be painted. There's some dry rot, broken windows. We got to take care of our home.
Oh, broken windows. Wow.
Well, you never know.
Okay.
No, okay. I'm just going to step in here. I just had my gutters cleaned, for one thing.
I did too,
and,
actually.
But windows are expensive. And my son, I don't know if you have sons, I still have one window that is cracked from a BB. But windows are like $380 per window. And my son has probably in my house cracked 5 windows.
Sounds like he needs to get a job.
They were all accidents. He was having fun. It's better video games, and it's better to be outside doing things. And oops, Mom, broke a window. But yes, I mean, you have to take care of it as an investment. And I think, and that's why they always end up for insurance purposes, it's pride of ownership. And you can tell when you're driving down the street sometimes which homes are owned and which ones might not be owned. So it is important.
Look, we all get busy, but again, reiterate, our home is one of our biggest assets, and we got to take care of it because those unpainted eaves, they can lead to a much more costly fix later than just getting a little bit of paint on it.
All right. So when we come back, we have Brenda Solano coming in, and she is going to talk about what taxes look like for somebody that's maybe still in their home, looking maybe for a tax shelter, some different ideas, like just people preparing,
that's what I'm also interested in is like, what kind of taxes would I be looking at if I sold my home, especially if I have a lot of equity in it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm looking forward to that. And hopefully people out there will get some information for their elderly loved ones, or if you're even thinking about, liquidating and downsizing, as they call it these days.
All right. So when we come back, we have Brenda Solano with tax consulting and more, and Celeste Zupancic on the Small Business Voice on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. Stay with us.
This business tip is brought to you by Sisbro Innovation. I'm Catherine Ramos, and today we're talking about investing in local advertising. Consider investing in local print and online advertising. This helps to improve your visibility among local customers, utilizing targeted ads on social media platforms for a more focused approach. Using radio to reach your customers while they are relaxing may show them your services or products in a different light. Sisbro Innovation, where we help local businesses connect with local families. For more information on this tip, check out our blog at sisbroinnovation.com. That's Sisbro, S-I-S-B-R-O, innovation.com.
Welcome back to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. Reach out to more information about our featured guest by texting 209-222-8846, or you can always email me at info@smallbusinessvoicemedia.com. So we have Celeste Zupancic in, and then we also have Brenda Solano coming in. She is with tax consulting and more. And so Brenda, you're here to kind of talk about the transition. So I'm going to let Jeanette lead in. So Jeanette, go ahead and take over.
All right. So, Celeste, thank you so much. You're just a wealth of knowledge. And Brenda, you're right here in the Central Valley in Modesto.
Yes.
But as I understand, you're able to almost do taxes for anyone in the United States because you hold one of the highest type of degrees. I mean, just short of CPA or attorney.
Yes. Basically, it is an enrolled agent. It's the highest. IRS designation is federal. So I can move to Hawaii, or I can represent clients from Georgia, Tennessee, any kind.
And you can represent them in tax court, correct?
Yes, in front of the IRS.
So you are the person. We love having experts on here. We have Celeste, expert in senior real estate and helping them. Now they've made, let's say they've sold their house, right? And one of the reasons is maybe not just downsizing, but also trying to pull some of that money out of there. And I'm always thinking about, I have some of my kids saying, move, mom, you don't need this big house. And others, you should downsize and you have so much equity. Some people, their only retirement is kind of the equity in their house. We don't know what could have happened. Even with my mother, her all their nest egg ended up being eaten up by certain things. And then finally, the only money that they have left is their house. So now you go and sell the house. If you're lucky, you have a lot of equity in it. But what are the rules basically in selling the house that you're going to have to pay taxes on?
Okay, so basically, you have an exclusion if you're single of $250,000, and if you're married, $500,000. What does that mean? That when you sell your house, there is a worksheet that calculates your capital gains. Now, that also we have to take into consideration all the add-ons that you've done to your house.
Okay, so you help them with all those things. I mean, it's very complicated, but the basic is when you figure out how much the capital gains, the money you're making above that you actually gained on the house.
Yes.
If you're by yourself, $250,000, and if you are a couple, it's $500,000.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, and anything above that amount, and that's where you help them with the worksheet. If they do get it above that amount, say, but I put this into the house and I added this sunroom and I put a pool in and all of these other things, those things wouldn't be taxable. So now they have their money and now they're going to be filing also taxes, and they have Social Security coming in. Is that taxable?
Sometimes it is.
All right. So it depends on the amount of money that they make.
It depends on their income. That is correct.
Because a lot of older people are still working.
So let's say if a rule of thumb, if you're single and you make more than $25,000, then your Social Security starts being taxable. If you're married and you make more than $32,000, then your Social Security start being taxable.
I hear they're going to start raising that up though, right? That you can make a little bit more money. I heard some tax laws are coming down the pike where you can make a little bit more money in your retirement. Is this something that if it's been passed yet, or should we just keep our fingers crossed?
We should keep our fingers crossed.
Okay, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. All right, Brenda, so you're right here in Modesto. And how would people get a hold of you? Because they should definitely have a consultation. Doing taxes when you are a senior is so much different. Just tell me, who have you helped and what difference did it make?
So we recently, a client came in, he's 91 years old. So He decided when his CPA retired that he was going to do his own taxes in the computer with a company I'm not going to mention.
One of those. Okay.
Yes, one of those. And so he usually pays about $4,000 a year because he has different types of income. This time he got a refund check of $29,000.
So wait a minute. You said that when he was doing them through the app.
Yes.
You know, I've done those. I've done taxes for my son's friends through the app. They have one, they end up getting one W-2. And it's like they have no deductions, standard deductions, but it doesn't ask all of the questions. And you said he had a few different incomes.
Yeah.
And if you have gotten income from the sale of a house, should you ever get that done through an app?
I would not recommend that. Seniors sometimes have different types of income. And if you don't answer the questions correctly, then it gives the tax returns are wrong. So now we had to change the tax returns for 2023. So he has to pay back that money. Plus,
okay.
yes, plus,
There's no extra money when you're a senior.
I know, but
Yeah.
there's money that he shouldn't have received in the first place.
And it's good that they talk to you too, because it's more of an interview. Like you can ask questions where the app can't ask questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at questions on an app, a lot of times I don't really understand them. Like I have to read them out, and just kind of.
Yeah, and
It's
when
try
you
to
talk
follow
to
it, yeah.
someone, it's the same way of trying to write an insurance policy and looking at a house on Zillow or finding out exactly what the house has in there in case it burnt down.
Yeah, so you're listening to Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. We are here with Brenda Solano. She is with tax consulting and I'm sorry, I didn't write your business down.
Tax consulting and more.
And okay, I almost said something wrong. So anyway, but Brenda can be reached at 209-225-2610, or you can email her at brenda@taxconsultingnow.com. And the website is taxconsultingnow.com, correct?
And I see also
Correct.
here, se habla español.
See?
All right.
All right.
And that's the whole thing, too. A lot of the seniors here in the Central Valley, just being able to sit down and talk to someone, and maybe do you help them a plan for the next year? Should they see you before they sell their house to find out what the tax consequences are going to be? Because, as professionals, we should all communicate with each other. And would you recommend that?
Yes. Basically, I see a lot of people, including seniors. We had a senior last year. She came in. The house was in escrow, and we did a worksheet. And she was at ease because she knew she didn't have to pay any taxes. She came in this year, and of course, everything worked out great. And she sold her house, and she didn't have to pay any taxes. But I have a worksheet specially for the sale of your home. And I go through all the improvements that you've done, all your add-ins, what the escrow, the commission that the seniors or the sellers pay. So I go through all of that. Yes.
All right. So even if you are in escrow right now, going to be selling your house, you should probably go in and see someone, see what the tax consequences are going to be, and always work with professionals. I know that when we get older, we think we know everything, but that's the whole thing. We know that when, we have a lot of business people out there, things that we don't know how to do, you find someone that you know how to do it. You find those experts out there. You can't do everything completely on your own. And so what are you finding right now? I'm going to go back to Celeste. What's the age when people start really thinking about downsizing? Is it right when they're going to retire or when they're empty nesters?
I think it's different for everybody. Sometimes the empty nester wants to hang on to their home because they're excited about the potential of grandkids, welcoming grandkids into the home and things like that. So really, it's up to every individual person. And just being available so that we can talk through some of those details is something that I'm always available to do.
Yeah, so now you've worked your whole life, and from your income, you were taxed to buy your house when you're taxed on your house. Now you're going to sell your house, and you're being taxed again. And if you were working, you put together a retirement plan. Some of those, there's so many retirement plans out there. And I think that is one of the big things as far as taxation on the income you get for retirement. And what do you suggest, Brenda, on something like that?
Okay. Basically, the rule of thumb is if you had a retirement plan through your work as an employee, that's going to be taxable when you withdraw those distributions. You want that money you needed for monthly expenses. Anything that was through your employer pre-tax, you will pay taxes on it. Everything that you contributed after tax, let's say a Roth IRA, you don't have to pay taxes on that when you take the distributions, the amount that you need on a yearly basis.
What about the interest you make on that money, though? You get taxed on that or no?
No, only on
Okay.
the amount that you
Just
take
on
out.
the okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I know that we're coming up to the clock here, but quickly, a lot of people are doing reverse mortgages. What's the taxation on reverse mortgages? Now you're getting all this money coming in, and you don't have that mortgage payment any longer.
It's not taxable just because it is an advance on it's like an advance on a loan, so it is not taxable.
Oh, well, that's great to know.
Yeah, and I know. So we actually have Jim Liberto coming in next week to talk about reverse mortgages. So I know there's a lot of skeptics out there about reverse mortgages. In your opinion, like, what do you like reverse mortgages for seniors, or do you like kind of have a different opinion on that?
I think it might be the same as Celeste said. It depends on their situation.
It depends on their situation. Let's say I have seniors that have a lot of income coming in from different sources, but I also have seniors that only depend on Social Security and they're struggling.
Yeah. So it just kind of depends on the situation. I got
Yes.
you. Yeah, because I've heard different stories about it. I've been educated a lot on reverse mortgages, so I think they're pretty good. That's just my opinion. And when I I probably won't need one when I retire, but I don't know the future though. I mean, that's still another.
Yeah, there's so much that's involved, and I find a lot of people also sell when they lose their spouse. But then we have the tax consequences of there are some benefits still. But also as far as the minimum standard deduction, what happens when your spouse dies?
Well, if you don't remarry, then for 2 years, you're a qualified widower.
And
So
what does that
basically,
mean money-wise?
the standard deduction still the same as if you're married.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you get a larger standard
2 years,
for two people.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's pick
So
that up next
remarry
segment,
in
'cause
2 years.
But if you remarry right away on that year, basically, or after 2 years, you just become single. A single deduction.
Well, let's
Perfect.
go into that next segment. So you're listening to Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. And we have Brenda Solano in. She can be reached at 209-225-2610. Or she can be also reached at brenda@taxconsultingnow.com. And your website is taxconsultingnow.com. Celeste, you can be reached at 209-489-7312 and Celeste@sellyourhomes.com.
Correct.
Stay with us on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app.
This business tip is brought to you by Sisbro Innovation. I'm Catherine Ramos, and today we're talking about incorporating sustainability. Customers increasingly value businesses that prioritize sustainability. Incorporating environmentally friendly practices into your operation can be a major selling point and can also lead to cost savings in the long run. Check out the Modesto Chambers member California Green Business Network and join the green business community. Sisbro Innovation, where we help local businesses connect with local families. For more information on this tip, check out our blog at sisbroinnovation.com. That's Sisbro, SISBRO, innovation.com.
Welcome back to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. Reach out to more information about our featured guests by texting 209-222-8846, or you can always email us at info@smallbusinessvoicemedia.com. So we have Celeste Zupancic in the studio. She's going to be here all month. She can be reached at 209-489-7312, or you can reach Celeste at sellyourhomes.com. Did I say that right? Celeste at sellyourhomes.com?
Correct.
Okay. And then your social media is, so Instagram is Zupancic Celeste on Instagram. Facebook is Celeste Zupancic. And then your LinkedIn is Celeste Zupancic. So if people want to get a hold of you on social media, you're right there.
Yep.
Okay. Brenda, people can reach you at 209-225-2610, or they could email you at brenda@taxconsultingnow.com, or go to the website taxconsultingnow.com. All right.
All right. So, I mean, I love when we have experts on. I love when we have locally owned businesses. And this way, it's not only convenient as far as phone call, but being able to go and see someone in person and work with someone personally in the business. And so, Brenda, you are local. How long have you been doing this? And let's find out something personal about you. When did you start?
Sure. I've been doing taxes for 18 years. It is a family-owned business. My husband and I prepare tax returns, and we have another person who help us with bookkeeping. I have a 7-year experience in public accounting, and I have a degree in accounting.
All right, excellent. So the 18 years, have you been self-employed in a family business for 18 years?
Correct.
And so when you started 18 years ago, I mean, did you start with, let's say, your parents, or how did it start as family business 18 years? Or did you and your husband just 18 years ago start your own business?
No, basically, that was a very good question. It was a cousin of mine. She passed recently. It was the two of us who started the business. And it was
you
family,
learned from
friends,
her.
And, and that's how it started.
That's excellent. So now you do have an office where people can come in and make an appointment. What's the address for that office?
Sure. 3504 Chancellor Avenue in Modesto.
And your hours?
You know what? During tax season, we prefer actually to be by appointment only, just because sometimes we have video. I have clients in Australia.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow.
I have clients in Taiwan, Georgia, Texas.
So is this because older people, I know Celeste was saying some people want to downsize because they want to travel. So for those that are expats, as they call it, they go and live somewhere else where their money from the sale of their house gets them further, including a maid. And so so this is the whole thing. If you have parents that are living abroad,
Yes.
you need someone to help you with your taxes that it has the ability to file taxes for people all over the world. I mean, that is quite interesting. So remember that if you have parents living abroad, Brenda's probably the person that's going to be able to help your parents file their taxes here back in the States.
Yes.
All right. So what about you, your family? I mean, a lot of people say succession. And if you have a business, are your kids interested in, because I mean, you went through the ups and downs. Self-employment is not easy.
No.
And are you just going to shut your doors, or are you looking for an apprentice, or, how's that going to work?
Well, you know what? My daughter does not want to be self-employed.
What is it with kids these days? I swear.
But I'm looking at my grandson and say, I can train this guy and he can go to school to be an accountant. So maybe.
You know what? It is really interesting, especially, how old is your grandson?
He's only a year old.
So Brenda, I actually got to ask this question
Train them
really
early.
quick. So what's your favorite number?
My favorite number, you mean as a regular number?
Yeah.
5.
5, okay. Because I noticed that we've had tax professionals in here before, and they always have a favorite number or favorite equation. They have something kind of well, pardon the expression, neurotic a little bit. So I was wondering if you were the same way. If you had something 5 is your number.
5 is not my number.
If I had an accountant or a tax professional, I would want them to be OCD because I mean taxes are too important. Just she's doing the two little fingers, just
a bit.
Yeah. So, but I mean, 1 year old. I mean, that just took me for a loop because all of us, when we talk to a lot of people, either they went into business because their parents were in it, and that's how it used to be in history, and then I've talked to a lot of agents, Allstate agents, and when their father owned an agency, and they said, yeah, that was the last thing I wanted. And they go, and then I want to go to college, and I'm going to do this. And then they see that the parents have put in all the hard work. They went through everything. They have the customer base, and then they start realizing, you know what, my parents maybe did it right. Why am I trying to reinvent the wheel? I've got my business degree or accounting degree. And so there might be hope yet, because with someone that specializes, there's not that many people in the area that specialize like you, correct?
Yeah, basically, yes, especially in the Spanish-speaking world, there is very little enrolled agents.
Really?
And CPAs, yes.
Oh, wow.
And how do you advertise, except I'm glad you came on the show. And but I mean, how would someone even find someone if they Googled elderly senior taxes. Are you in there?
So you listen to Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. We are here with Celeste Zupancic of HomeSmart PV and Associates. She can be reached at 209-489-7312. And you can email Celeste at cellularhomes.com. And her social media is Zupancic Celeste on Instagram, Celeste Zupancic on Facebook, and then you can find Celeste Zupancic on LinkedIn also. And then we also have Brenda Solano, our tax specialist. She can be reached at 209-225-2610. Her email, or you can email her at brenda@taxconsultingnow.com. And the website is taxconsultingnow.com.
Yeah,
So I don't know if you remember the question or not. I apologize. We got to do this reset.
Yeah,
so.
I'm thinking, I know there's capacity. I know that with my CPA, for example, he is just slammed. And so luckily, I've kind of like got my foot in the door to make sure that I'm his customer every single year. But when it comes to home sales, for example, that's tax information that somebody needs. Do you partner with senior real estate agents such as Celeste?
You know what? Actually, I should.
Leave it to Jeanette to give some marketing.
Brenda, I like it, the fact that you are able to do taxes in every state because, establishing a relationship with a new accountant or tax preparer wherever our seniors move, that's in itself is scary. That's establishing a whole new relationship like with a doctor.
Yep.
So that's great to know that you can handle taxes in all those states and countries.
Yes.
And so you said also with the Hispanic community.
Yes.
Is now you and your husband prepare taxes.
Correct.
And so there's only the two of you.
Well, no, we have an assistant, but she helps us. We also do bookkeeping for small business owners. So she's helping us on that side.
And so now let's just take the tax consequences. Sell your house, you're downsizing, you have your Social Security, and depending on your income, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that can raise, because too many seniors right now, Social Security is something that no one can really live on. You can't even feed your cat on it. And so with that income now, a lot of older people are going back to work. And then so are you finding that a lot of seniors that are self-employed, we just can't seem to retire. We still have to keep that money coming in. And do seniors have special needs? What special needs do they have when they are seniors and trying to file their taxes and still being self-employed business owners?
I do recommend that you do tax planning. So basically, I meet with clients at the end of September.
Okay.
Because I can project their income for the whole year and find out, hey, are you okay with the taxes that you're paying? Let's say your quarterly taxes, estimated taxes, or do you need to pay more? What is it that you're thinking? Are you thinking about selling stocks? How much do you need as far as for the next year to live so that you can take out enough from your retirement accounts and still have the federal withholdings so that you don't end up with a huge bill come next year?
When you die, do you still have to file your tax return?
Oh, that's a tricky question. Yes, you do. There is before death, and after death.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
So if you have a parent that dies, you have to file the tax return for them.
Yes.
And if they died in November, they would have maybe tax obligations for 11 months.
Yes.
Okay. And so that's something that you should know out there. If you have an elderly parent, don't just say the government should figure it out.
Yeah, you don't want the government to figure that out.
Yes, because if they end up now owing taxes and the interest and everything else on those and penalties, and they were the owner of the house, you really need to protect yourself.
Yes.
Death and taxes.
So, Brenda, I want to thank you for coming in and educating us today and educating our audience. And if people want to get a hold of you, you work for Tax Consulting Now.
Tax Consulting and more.
And okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I gave away your card, and then I should have kept it with me. So, Tax Consulting and More is the business.
Yes.
Okay, people can reach at 209-225-2610, and you can be emailed at brenda@taxconsultingnow.com, and your website is taxconsultingnow.com.
Yes.
And remember, Celeste's going to be here the entire month.
Yes.
So if you found things that were very interesting in this radio show today, and you have seniors in your life or you are a senior, make sure to listen this entire month where we'll be bringing on experts to help seniors.
Yes. And then Celeste, people can reach you at 209-489-7312, and they can email you at celeste@sellyourhomes.com. Your social media is Zupancic Celeste on Instagram, and then Celeste Zupancic on Facebook, and Celeste Zupancic on LinkedIn. Right? Okay. You just nodded. So
Sorry.
that's okay. You're good. So when we come back, we have the community corner. Thank you both for coming in. Actually, Celeste, you're going to hang out with us for a little bit longer. So, all right. So anyway, Thank you, Brenda. You're listening to Small Business
so
Voice on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Marisol Fernandez, your certified nutrition coach and co-owner of Rooted Movement. Let's talk about how to snack smart. Reach for snacks like boiled eggs, Greek yogurt, or nuts paired with fresh fruits or veggies to fuel your day without the sugar crash. Need snack ideas to fit your routine? I can help. We're located in the heart of downtown Modesto. At Rooted Movement, we combine practical nutrition advice with movement to help you reach your health and fitness goals. So visit us today at rootedmovementmodesto.com or follow us on Instagram and Facebook to start your journey today.
Welcome back to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. Reach out to us for more information about a featured guest by texting 209-222-8846, or you can always email us at info@smallbusinessvoicemedia.com. You can also go to Jeanette's office. Call Jeanette at 209-667-2222, or you can visit her office. What's your office?
2012 West Monte Vista Avenue in Turlock.
All right. So the Community Corner is proudly sponsored by Lightspeed Graphics, a creative media agency specializing in video and animation. To get in touch with owner Kurt Gonzalez, simply text him at 209-617-2606 or visit his website at lightspeedgraphics.com. So Celeste, thank you for sponsoring this month. And thank you for your insight. And we're going to have your insight a lot here. The one thing I wanted to touch on really quick was you had a 30-year career over at Costco.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and you were able to transition from the corporate world to being a realtor. So can you talk a little bit about that really quick?
Yeah, what made you change?
Really, I do have a passion for real estate, and, seniors definitely are in my heart. And I like to help people on a one-on-one basis. Costco's a lot different. It's, you're helping people, of course, but many, 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 many people, employees, vendors, members. So it's just a whole different mindset.
And it's long hours too. I remember you said you started your day like at 3 a.m.
Well, real estate's long hours too.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
weekends.
Yeah, and weekends. So I am pretty much a 7-day-a-week operation. If my clients can only see property after 5, then that's when we see property. I'm doing open houses on the weekends, just really doing everything that we need to do to service the client.
Okay, I wanted to tell a story really quick, actually. So when my parents were in that transition, they actually hired Celeste because they were going to try to move from, they sold their house up in LaGrange, and they were going to looking to buy a condo close to my house. My mom was ill at the time, so we could never get that, finalized, because the problem my dad was having was he was still listening to my mom, and one day my mom was like on board, and then the next day, she didn't want to do it, and that was her illness, and but you were so patient with me. You were so I felt bad for having.
And we
my
talked
parents
about that. You know how Celeste said it becomes almost like a family matter of people being on board and being able to help them out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a family endeavor. And lots of times, especially when we're working with our older seniors, the family is involved.
And it's emotional, too.
It is very emotional. It's emotional for the senior and the loved ones, because lots of times we're entertaining the idea of selling the home that they were born and raised in. Mm-hmm. So
and
it's a very emotional experience.
So why real estate? I mean, you said you love seniors, but there's so many different professions, and you picked one that's weekends, nights, really hands-on. And how many years ago did you make this change again?
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years
Yes.
ago, right before interest rates went up and turmoil in the market. If I were to change careers later in life, I don't think I would do real estate. Why? What was your passion about homes?
I love real estate. And
okay.
it is one of the largest purchases that we're going to buy or sell in our lifetime. And I enjoy being part of that journey and helping clients make the right purchase, not just any purchase.
So you were looking at a condo for your parents.
My parents were looking for a condo, yeah.
And why were they looking for a condo?
Well, they moved, and so the plan was they were going to move in with me, and they wanted to use the money they had from their condo, or I'm sorry,
From the sale of their home?
Yeah, to basically turn my garage into a living space for them.
Putting mother-in-law quarters. A lot of people
Yeah.
do that these days.
But that didn't come to fruition. I mean, it just
Everything went wrong. You've had a rough couple of years.
It was rough, and you just kind of, like things change on a whim. And I guess the great thing with Celeste, like business owners, you can't take anything personal. It's like you understood what we were going through with my mom.
And again, being a senior real estate specialist, we do understand, it doesn't always fit in a box. Just because someone has an idea that they want to buy a home doesn't mean that right now that's going to work.
Yeah. So you're listening to Small Business Voice with Justin Duggan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. And you're listening to Celeste Zupancic. She can be reached at 209-489-7312. And you can email her at celeste@sellyourhomes.com. And she is on all social media platforms.
And the population, as we know, is getting older. And so I've noticed there's a lot more places that are seniors only, senior communities, and things like this. And because, seniors are safe. So I'm so glad you're going to be here for, this whole month, because there's so many questions that are involved with that. And I see a lot of people are, a lot of seniors are trying to get into more of senior areas and things like this, and there's a lot involved. So.
Yeah. So I think so next week we're going to have Jim Liberto come on, and he's going to talk about reverse mortgages. So I think we'll kind of talk about maybe people that want to stay in their homes that necessarily can't maybe afford to keep their homes.
Yeah, reverse mortgages kind of have a bad rap. There's lots of great programs out there as far as a reverse mortgage. And Jim Limberto and I sometimes partner on those things, and putting those clients in, the right program for them is always a good option.
Yeah, I have a question about reverse mortgage. If not so much, wanting to stay, but what you can, let's say, use your money for. Because if I were to get a reverse mortgage, maybe to put that mother-in-law addition to my house or something, or would I be able to use it to
an ADU
or maybe invest? So, I have my questions on what we can use it for, and those kind of questions. So I'm looking forward to next week. And if you have those questions also, and Celeste will be back again.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll see you again. You're here all month, right?
I am. Yes, I am.
Yes. So, and there's a lot of, I think people think well, how much is there? And then you start the conversation, and then you realize that there is so much to cover, and what we want to do is educate our audience, and, that are maybe transitioning from the workforce to maybe retirement, and what that looks like, because, I think people are so I think at the end of the day, I think I'm going to be working for about 50 years before I decide to retire. But I'm in that mode of working and not, and then it's a different mindset. You got to change your mindset. And then, you're so used to working. And then it's well,
I think that's why it's so
where
great.
do I go now?
This show here gives people opportunity to listen to specialists. And if you've been thinking about things, and then, it gives you that momentum of, is this something I want to do? Or maybe I never even thought about doing that.
There's a shift. In our early years, we're thinking about building our wealth, raising our kids, maybe changing careers. And at this stage in life, we're thinking about, we're empty nesters now. We're hopefully retirement's on the forefront for many of us. And how can we maximize the wealth that we've already built?
All right. So we're going to cover that more next week.
Yes.
All right. So anyway, thank you for tuning in each week. We look forward to having you back next week. And also, if you're a business owner that would like to have your voice heard, feel free to reach out to me at 209-222-8846 or drop me an email at info@smallbusinessvoicemedia.com. Let's stay connected and grow together. A heartfelt shout out to our dedicated producer, Mike Murray, and the general manager of our KCVP, Jim Costello, for their invaluable contributions to our show. We also appreciate the hard work of our intern, Tiffany Alex, and Kurt Gonzalez of Lightspeed Graphics, Video and Animation for capturing and inspiring our guests. If you're seeking assistance in digital marketing, don't hesitate to reach out to Kurt at 209-617-2606 or email Kurt at lightspeedgraphics.com. Jeanette, thank you for joining me today. And,
Always.
And I appreciate your support of the Small Business Voice. Remember to join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. as we dive into the minds of local small business owners and even more insightful discussions. And a special thanks to our guests, Celeste Zupancic and Brenda Solano. I'll give Brenda's information first. If you need to get a hold of Brenda Solano, give her a call at 209-225-2610. And she can be reached at brenda@taxconsultingnow.com, or you can go to the website taxconsultingnow.com. And Celeste, people can reach you at 209-489-7312, and they can email you at celeste@sellyourhomes.com, and you're on all social media platforms, correct?
Yep.
All right. So thank you for sharing your expertise with us today. Now, let's take care of business.